For decades, Diddy reigned as an untouchable titan, a symbol of ultimate power, luxury, and success in hip-hop. His empire, Bad Boy, was legendary, his influence undeniable. But whispers have turned to roars, and the once impenetrable fortress of his legacy now faces its ultimate test. As shadows lengthen over his once bright kingdom, one voice has risen above the noise with brutal honesty: Rick Ross. The biggest boss is speaking out on what he calls Diddy's ultimate betrayal. Get ready for a savage breakdown of a downfall no one saw coming, exposing truths that will shake hip-hop to its core. Sean Diddy Combs was more than a music mogul. He was a cultural architect. From Bad Boy Records to Ciroc Vodka, his brand symbolized aspirational wealth, undeniable swagger, and a relentless pursuit of power. He cultivated an image of invincibility, a man who consistently outmaneuvered every obstacle, building an empire that seemed destined to last forever. His influence shaped generations of artists and defined an era of hip-hop opulence and relentless ambition. Diddy's Midas touch appeared limitless. Every venture he touched seemed to turn to gold, cementing his reputation as a visionary entrepreneur and a master of branding. His parties were legendary, his lifestyle extravagant, and his network of celebrity friends spanned across music, fashion, and business. For decades, he stood as a testament to the American dream, a self-made billionaire who represented the pinnacle of hip-hop success. The very essence of Diddy's power was built on perceived loyalty and an aura of untouchable authority. Artists flocked to his label, collaborators sought his blessing, and his word carried immense weight. He commanded respect, often through a blend of charm and intimidation, ensuring that his position at the top remained unchallenged. This facade of invincibility was a cornerstone of his empire, seemingly impervious to external attacks. Rick Ross, the self-proclaimed biggest boss, built his own empire on raw authenticity, street credibility, and an unwavering commitment to his craft. His rise was organic, rooted in vivid storytelling and a powerful presence that resonated deeply with fans. Ross consistently championed loyalty and a strict code of conduct, valuing integrity above all else in the cutthroat music industry, defining his brand on a foundation of respect. Ross's journey to becoming a mogul himself often put him in close proximity to industry giants like Diddy. While often collaborating and sharing a similar opulent aesthetic, Ross always maintained an independent streak. He respected the game, understood the power plays, but always prioritized his own code and his true vision for his label, Maybach Music Group. This independent spirit would prove crucial later on. Rick Ross has never been one to shy away from uncomfortable truths. Known for his unfiltered honesty, his lyrical integrity, and his willingness to speak his mind, he commands respect for his directness. This reputation for unwavering authenticity meant that when he finally began to voice his concerns regarding Diddy's unfolding situation, the hip-hop world listened with rapt attention, knowing his words carried significant weight. The first cracks in Diddy's seemingly invincible empire began to emerge as public accusations and whispers turned into a cascading wave of legal challenges. What was once seen as minor controversies escalated into a full-blown crisis, threatening to dismantle decades of carefully constructed prestige. The sheer volume and severity of the allegations sent shockwaves not just through hip-hop, but across the entire entertainment landscape. The public narrative surrounding Diddy shifted dramatically, transforming from an icon of success to a figure shrouded in controversy. Every past interaction, every public appearance was re-examined under a harsh new light. The very essence of his carefully curated brand began to unravel, leaving many to question the true nature of the empire he had so meticulously built. The image of the ultimate boss started to crumble under pressure. As the legal pressure mounted, Diddy's control seemed to slip. Raids on his properties, public statements from former associates, and a growing list of plaintiffs painted a stark picture of a mogul in crisis. The once private world of a billionaire was laid bare, exposing vulnerabilities and a level of scrutiny he had rarely faced throughout his illustrious career. The walls of his fortress were clearly breached. The gravity of Diddy's situation sent a chilling message through the music industry. It underscored that even the most powerful figures are not immune to accountability, and that unchecked power can eventually lead to catastrophic consequences. The sheer scale of his alleged downfall served as a stark warning, forcing many to reevaluate their own positions and the ethics within the highest echelons of entertainment. The silence from many who once celebrated Diddy was deafening, a testament to the severity of his alleged actions. Loyalty, once a cornerstone of his empire, seemed to fracture under the weight of public scrutiny. The absence of widespread public defense from his closest associates fueled speculation that his downfall was a deeper crisis, a betrayal of trust that left many feeling abandoned. It was in this climate of uncertainty and unfolding crisis that Rick Ross found his voice, providing commentary that many perceived as a direct warning shot to Diddy. Ross, known for his no-nonsense approach, didn't hold back. His words were sharp, direct, and laden with a sense of disappointment and betrayal, resonating with a public hungry for candid insights into the unfolding drama. Rick Ross's commentary wasn't just typical hip-hop shade, it was a profound statement from one mogul to another, implying a deep disillusionment. His words highlighted perceived hypocrisy and a stark contrast between the public facade and the alleged reality. He spoke with the authority of someone who understood the game, lending immense weight to his criticisms. The ultimate betrayal Rick Ross referenced wasn't merely personal, it was a betrayal of the very principles and values he felt hip-hop should uphold. He seemed to view Diddy's alleged actions as a stain on the culture, a deviation from the code of honor and respect that true bosses should embody. This perspective resonated deeply with fans who shared his sentiment. Ross's decision to speak out so forcefully was a bold move, knowing the power Diddy once wielded. It demonstrated his conviction and his willingness to stand by his principles, even when it meant calling out a former peer on such a grand stage. His words echoed the sentiment of many who felt that accountability was long overdue. The sheer savagery of Rick Ross's words cut deep, not just because of their content, but because of his own standing in the industry. As a successful businessman and a respected figure, his criticisms couldn't be easily dismissed as mere jealousy or rivalry. His commentary was taken as a genuine expression of profound disappointment and anger. As Rick Ross's commentary gained traction, Diddy remained largely silent on specific allegations, adopting a strategy of legal defense and limited public statements. This silence, however, was interpreted by many as a sign of weakness or an inability to directly counter the mounting criticisms, further fueling the narrative of his downfall. The lavish lifestyle Diddy once flaunted, a symbol of his aspirational image, began to appear as a stark contrast to the severity of the allegations against him. What was once celebrated as triumph now carried a different weight, becoming a visual representation of the unraveling of his once impeccable public persona. The weight of the legal battle and public scrutiny clearly took a toll on Diddy. His rare public appearances reflected a man under immense pressure, a stark departure from the charismatic, ever-confident mogul. This visible shift contributed to the narrative of his downfall, as the once invincible figure appeared more vulnerable than ever before. The impact of Diddy's legal woes extended beyond his personal life, casting a long shadow over his entire business empire. Brands associated with him faced scrutiny, and partnerships came under review. The very foundations of his long-standing ventures began to tremble, demonstrating how deeply his personal crisis affected his professional legacy. The ongoing crisis forced Diddy to retreat from the public eye, a stark contrast to his decades as a ubiquitous presence in entertainment. His absence from major events and social media was a clear indicator of the profound shift in his status, marking a significant chapter in his public downfall and isolation. Rick Ross continued to act as a poignant commentator, observing the shifting tides with a critical eye. His consistent voice, providing insight without necessarily reveling in Diddy's alleged misfortune, positioned him as a respected, if stern, moral compass within the unfolding narrative. The ultimate betrayal Ross spoke of resonated with many, symbolizing a broader disillusionment with perceived unchecked power and ethical lapses within the industry. His voice became a conduit for those who felt that the values of hip-hop were being compromised by certain high-profile figures. Rick Ross's integrity as the biggest boss was arguably strengthened by his willingness to speak truth to power. His unwavering stance, even against a figure as formidable as Diddy once was, reinforced his reputation for authenticity and loyalty to a code that transcended mere friendships. The contrast between Diddy's current struggles and Rick Ross's continued flourishing underscored the divergent paths of two moguls. Ross's consistent focus on his music, businesses, and personal principles painted a picture of stability against a backdrop of chaos, reinforcing his own empire's resilience. Ultimately, Rick Ross's commentary on Diddy's situation served as a powerful and unfiltered look into the consequences of alleged actions at the highest levels of the industry. His words were a warning, a judgment, and a stark reminder that even empires can crumble when trust and integrity are reportedly broken. The legacy Diddy once meticulously built now faces an unprecedented reevaluation. What will remain of the mogul who seemed to define an era? The answers are still unfolding, but the magnitude of his alleged downfall suggests a permanent shift in how his contributions and his influence will be remembered. The once private world of Diddy was irrevocably exposed, revealing layers that shocked even the most seasoned industry observers. The unraveling of his personal life became intertwined with the public perception of his professional empire, creating a narrative of stunning and complete reversal. The ultimate betrayal that Rick Ross referenced, whether direct or indirect, speaks to a deeper shift in the moral fabric of certain segments of the music industry. Diddy's crisis serves as a harsh lesson that power, without accountability, can lead to devastating consequences for even the most entrenched figures. Diddy's downfall is not just a personal tragedy, but a seismic event reverberating through hip-hop. It reshapes narratives, redefines success, and forces a reckoning with power. As the dust settles, the industry watches to see what, if anything, will remain of the empire that once seemed truly untouchable.